encounter through Him. Know what you are doing, imitate the mystery you celebrate. Model your life on the mystery of the Lord's cross. This is a priest.
Well, it looks as though I'm here today with Lucas Ferranti from our parish, a young man who is studying at Brock University now. He just completed his first year. We can perhaps ask him a little bit about that. He also, he's known to many in the parish. He's on the pastoral council and has been functioning as our secretary. We're very grateful for that. And let me see. So I wanted to have a variety of different people from the parish. We've had, one from the music ministry, and then we've had and then prior to that, oh yes, there was Anna, okay, who did, and she had homeschooling and talked a little bit about that. Well, okay, so that's what I'd like to do is, Lucas, you're there? No?
Here I am, yes.
Oh, good. Okay, very good. Now, okay, now that's good. All I
Thank
could
you
see
for having
was,
me. I have my coffee.
oh, good for you. I have a cup of tea today because it's the
Excellent.
afternoon. Oh, very good. So yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, Father. How are you?
Hmm. Reasonably well, thank you. Quite well.
That's good.
Um, Now, when we were talking the other day, you were saying that you work at one of our grocery stores. Is that not
Indeed,
so?
I do, yes.
Okay, all right.
Zares at the Penn Center.
Oh, there's at the Penn Center. Okay.
Yes.
And yeah, everybody has an experience, of course, because everybody has to go in and get not only groceries, but things for living, because the grocery store has a whole variety of things, right down to light bulbs, actually. Eh?
That's correct,
So,
yes.
so everybody will have their own experience. Maybe it's pleasant, maybe it's not always. There are lineups and so on. Can you talk a little bit about what you do there and maybe some observations you've made over the past several weeks now that
Yeah,
we're
of course. So I was hired, actually. I wasn't, well, no one was expecting this, but I was hired last June just out of high school after I graduated, just as an ordinary cashier, if you will. And then from there, gradually I expanded into other areas of the front end of the store that included like customer service, lottery tickets and whatnot. And as well, recently with this whole pandemic quarantine, our e-commerce area, PC Express it's called, so it's our online grocery department, has seen massive numbers of orders, which we've never seen before. So a lot of our staff was asked, or more or less voluntold, to kind of go to that area. So I'd say over the past 2 months, it's pretty much that's all I've been doing is just part of it's paperwork, being on the computer, being on the phone with customers, and the other part is actually being in the store, gathering groceries, preparing them, and whatnot. So that's what it's been for the past 2-3 months. But like I said, it's all in the front end. They're dealing with the customers. So it's
and
been
then
very interesting to say the least.
how because I noticed I went to the location at Fairview Mall, and I noticed that they seem to have a lot of that on the go as well, these pickup orders and so on. How does the customer get the supplies?
Oh,
Like,
so they place their order. It's all done online, which is great for us because it's very seamless. But there were several instances where customers would call in. They want to know if they can call in their grocery order, and I said I would love to help you with that. But I said we simply just it's a far simpler for us to do it through the computer. But yes, they place their order online, or you could do it on like a tablet or your phone or whatnot. You select your pickup time. It's an hour window, and then you come and pick it up at the store. So you drive into the parking lot. There's reserved spots. You just call into the store, and we deliver your groceries out to you. So it is fairly simple. There are hiccups here and there. When it was very busy, we weren't used to that volume of traffic, that amount of customers. So it was tough, but it's getting much better now. We've expanded our hours of operation in terms of staff, so we're getting better that way.
Okay, and I would imagine at different times you'd have to take a chance and put in a substitute product because
That's correct, yes.
everything's not in stock all the time, I would
That's
think.
right, yeah. So
Especially
that's a little difficult, and it takes a little bit of training, I would say, to figure out proper substitutions for certain items. That my goal is always I try and find the customer something because they did order it, so I'm assuming they have a reason for ordering it. So I try and do my best. There are some items, however, yeast and flour most recently, none. The shelf is totally empty. So for items like that, it's very unfortunate, but
This is
yeah.
what I've heard about. And then I guess bread makers, there's a new craze over that.
That's
the
correct,
automatic
yeah.
bread maker, because I think it was introduced sometime probably in maybe the 90s or maybe the 80s, but 90s. And
That's
it was
right.
a big
Everyone's
deal. And
grabbing them out of their
everybody-
basement now.
Yeah,
Putting
that's
them to
exactly it.
use.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Isn't that interesting? Are you noticing any other items that are running low that you're short of as you go through the aisles?
So earlier it was the toilet paper, as everyone's aware of. That was comical, to say the least. I remember working a few mornings right when the store opened, and I likened it to Christmas because the shelves were fully stocked. We had toilet paper, Lysol wipes, paper towel and whatnot. And then gradually around 10, 11 o'clock, it's diminished down to the point where I remember there were two customers heading for the last bag of toilet paper on the shelf. And I was like, uh-oh, I'm not gonna have to diffuse a fight here. They were civil about it, which is good. We had a limit of 2 and the one customer already had one and the other customer didn't have any. So there was compromise. And he said, well, I understand I see you already have one there. Can I take this one? So they were very civil about it. But yeah, first it was the toilet paper. I know. I was like, oof, you dodged a bullet there.
When it comes to situations like this, times like these, you can't be sure how the public is going to react. And now years ago, before you were born, in fact, there was a glowworm. There was a glowworm phenomenon. So the glowworm was a toy. And, and I just remember it had to have been it must have been the early 80s. And some of our listeners or viewers of this will remember, because I believe it made the front page too of the St. Catharines Standard. The escalator at Sears shut down because of the weight of the people trying to get up to the second floor to get this glowworm. And then, so it shut down. Then, of course, they ran up. And then there was a fist fight that broke out, actually. Can you imagine? Yes,
Goodness.
What we would call a Donnybrook.
Yes.
Now that I just learned that word, actually, the other day at a funeral.
Wow,
So
there you go.
Isn't that something, the lack of civility over a toy?
Yep.
So thankfully, that didn't happen at Zaire's. Okay,
no, very fortunate, yes. So
now, can you all... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so now it's kind of not opposite, but it's shifted. So what I was saying before about the toilet paper, now we have lots of toilet paper, and I feel like everyone's stocked up so much they don't need any. And there's no flour, no yeast, things like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, because when I saw the shelves empty in that respect, with the paper towels and this kind of a thing, I thought, I've never seen that before. And I thought, I thought that the free market was supposed to look after demand, supply and demand. It does. It's just that nobody would have anticipated that demand.
That's right.
Because the product was available. It was just in warehouses. It's not as though we didn't actually have any, right?
That's correct.
And then of course the supermarket would seize upon that opportunity and say, now there's a huge demand for this, so let's order a ton of it. And then it all came in. But can you keep your eyes open, please, for some kind of sink and tub cleanser like Comet?
Of course.
There's no Comet, there's no Vim. I don't know what, I have some still.
Oh, that's normally, good. But you just want to be sure.
I like a supply of about 5 canisters of Comet usually, if I can. You know what I mean?
Of course, I'll keep my eye out for you.
Yeah, so I guess that has to do with sanitizing things, I
It
suppose.
must be, yes. There's certain items that are, uh, like I said, completely gone, and they haven't been in stock for a while now. Just the massive, massive demand. So,
Okay, got it. Yeah. And maybe some of these products are going over to the healthcare system as well, come to think of it.
well, I would
Maybe,
hope so as well. I know, like in terms of like the surgical masks and whatnot, I'd rather them go first to the, the frontline workers, healthcare workers and whatnot. We do have some in store, but which is great for us because they do take care of us in that respect with like the personal protective equipment, gloves, masks, and whatnot. But I would much rather, instead of them going on the shelves for customers. I understand there might be a need, but I hate to say it, but sometimes the frontline workers, I think they, as of right now, once there's plenty left, then yes, we can put it back on the shelves. But
okay,
that's
wow.
good. I agree with you on that.
Well, now my next, now because you are active and involved, okay, now I know within our parish, first of all, you do realize that the Strawberry Social, we've had to postpone, well, probably
Yes, I know.
cancel,
I heard.
yeah. And which is unfortunate, but it's probably, it was probably a good call because we
That's
just can't
correct.
tell, we can't tell when we're going to be getting, now it was an outdoor activity, so that should help. It should, if you're outside, it should be better with regard to airborne particles, you know.
That's right.
I was just hearing on CKTV, they had somebody, a research, a research technician actually from Montreal, and she was talking about how why this virus spreads so well, like in nursing homes, for example.
Hmm.
Apparently, we really have to look at our ventilation system much better. She said it's not unusual to find where these places where there's almost no filtered air,
Right.
and these particles, the virus can actually, I didn't realize this, but it could hang in the air for a while and get pushed from here to there, you know. And then if you touch a surface that is on it and then touch your eyes or something, or you inhale it, then
Right.
you, and you know,
I
so
heard that as well. Same with like it living on certain surfaces for certain durations of time. Stainless steel and like plastics more so than like cardboard or whatnot. It's
mm,
it's interesting, but not in the respect of like it's good to know these things, I guess, and it's interesting to see how it travels, how it spreads.
well, and the Loblaws chain did an awful lot, I must say. I mean, you feel safe in there, actually, in all of these stores, really. But I know that. So, do you feel safe in your location where you're
Of
working
course,
at?
yes. For the
So you,
most part, we do have to remind customers because there's the tape on the floor and there's the arrows and whatnot. It's all new. It's new for ourselves. It's new for the customers. It's funny that I was on the cash register a few times and the customers look at me. They're like, "Is it okay to touch like my groceries now?" I'm like, "Well, yes, they are yours. You will take them home. You do with them what you will." But it's just it's new to everyone, so a little time of adjustment, I guess, just for now.
oh yeah, and you can't bring in your own bags, your recyclable bags now, I guess.
That they are discouraging it, which is a little bit
Oh,
opposite now. Now they want to push the plastic bags a little bit more. It's more sanitary. I just say if you do want to bring your own bags as a cashier, we can't touch them. We can't handle the customer's
yeah.
bags. But
Oh,
if they do it themselves, or even bring them to your car, return your groceries to your vehicle, bag them at your car. Some people do that still, right?
yeah.
So
There you
it all
go.
depends on the customer what they prefer.
Look at you, so customer oriented.
Oh, of
Now,
course.
but are you finding, are you feeling distressed in any way? Like now that our routines have been disrupted, and you did have to finish your year at Brock, which is business, it seems to me, right? It's business
Yes,
study,
business administration. Yes.
and you did finish that online, and that went okay.
That's correct.
And,
It wasn't
and
necessarily what I was expecting, but then again, no one was expecting this.
no,
It was a surprise, and the way it was handled, I give much credit to my professors and the administration at Brock. But in terms of completing classes online, it wasn't. It's not my preferred method of delivery and of execution in terms of examinations, but it, you
mm,
know, out of a pure necessity, it did work out. So I'm pleased with that, and I'm pleased that like it was closer to the end of the semester, so it wasn't much disruption in terms of post-secondary. I know the same can't be said for high school and elementary, but these are the
and, and
cards we are dealt.
and you had to take examinations online, I presume.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And how did they, like, what if you had a separate computer on the go and you were quickly checking things? I mean, how would they, I mean, could,
It's very interesting. As far as I'm aware, there really wasn't. I know in terms of all my examinations, I had four. They were all multiple choice format.
oh,
So sorry, yeah, all multiple choice, and one had like a short answer section. Of course, they really can't police students
right.
text messaging or FaceTiming, as it were, each other. So I would
Mm,
assume it did happen. They do expect a degree of honesty and academic integrity. Whether or not that happens, there's really no way to know, right? And everyone in the comfort of their own home, it's
yeah,
tough to police. So
exactly.
I can't
Wow.
I can't be sure.
All these experiences, but you seem like what I could call a man for all seasons. You can roll with the punches, you know,
Oh,
you're,
thank you. I would hope so. I think we've all made some rather stark, yeah, adjustments. We're doing well, I'd say,
you
given
know,
the circumstances.
and you're not, do you get cabin fever? Well, you do get to get out, that's good, but in your house, you know, because you can't really be visiting with friends,
That's
for example.
correct. Yeah, it's a little tough, but in today's day and age of technology, I think we're very fortunate than
Right.
years ago in terms of the level of communication that we're able to maintain while
Yeah.
still being in our separate gopher holes, if you will, being at home. So uh, it is tough at times. You are correct, but like I said, I'm able to go to work, whether or not that's a blessing or a bit of like a, how would you say, annoyance? Never annoyance, but it's sometimes tough. I don't know. It's a toss up. It depends on the day, I guess you could say.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're doing fine, and I know you've been in the parish. How many have you been in the parish since you were a child, like since you were baptized?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, all right, and good. And you don't seem, I'm just very, I'm not speaking too soon, I'm sure, but you, unfortunately, there's statistically, after high school, for example, so many, they might even believe that they've lost their faith, but you're not in that category. You have a fairly sturdy faith, I think, eh?
Yeah, I would hope so, of course. Especially dealing with members of the public, it's easy to hear so many things throughout the course of your day. You hear everyone's opinion. So for myself, I like prefer to keep my own belief, keep my own opinion, and I keep it to myself to an extent. I do share it with others, but I'm not one to want to how would you say, push my belief on someone else. I prefer to and I don't want to be influenced too much by others as well.
Good
But
for you.
I try and keep myself grounded, not try and sway too much. So
Well, and you know, it can show, it should show through. That's the thing. I just had a
right.
funeral of some of our parishioners will know Ron Turner, that's Laurie's husband. And we did have to have, it was small, of course, and social distance and so forth. But the marvelous compliment was paid to him that they said, they would say about him, I guess he was asked a number of times if he was a Christian. Now, to me, that would be a supreme compliment. And can you imagine? They could just see it in his behavior and how he treated people. And that, of course, is what, you
Right.
know, like nobody asks me that, but I'm usually dressed like this. But I want everybody to know priests are Christians too, you know.
That's
So
correct. Yes.
most of us. So good for you. Yeah. So yeah, you
Thank
gotta. So
you.
you keep things fairly close to the vest, but people should be able to see it. And remember what St. Peter said: when always be ready to give reasons for the faith that
Right.
you have. So if somebody asks you, and sure, you know, but I'm like you. I don't. I'm certainly not pushy in any way, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, by any means. So,
Yes.
yeah. Well, listen, what a marvelous. Any final remarks now that we're, because people will only watch us for so long. That's the thing, eh? So,
Right. I know we can go on all night, right?
yeah.
But
But yeah, it's marvelous. Yeah. So, when will you go back to work tomorrow?
yes, actually, I'm in tomorrow. So
Okay, and you're on nights, so we shouldn't expect to see you that frequently.
well, not for the next little while. However, I know they're looking at shifting back into days now. So as things start to reopen, people are more comfortable going outside into the stores and whatnot. They're shifting us back towards days because our demand for, like I said, the online grocery, it's I think it's peaked now. It's kind of on the decline a little bit. We still have great amounts of customers, but in terms of people being in the store, we've seen a slight return. So I'm
Okay.
not too sure what that'll bring. We'll have to see.
Well, okay, so everybody, so stay tuned. You can find Lucas, not right away, but you will be able to find him during the day at Zehrs in the Penn Center. And
Right.
that'll be great. Yes. He'll help you to get what you want and need. And you're going to
Exactly.
keep your eyes on the comet and thank you very
Yes,
much.
of
Okay.
course.
Thanks. Thanks, Lucas.
Of course, Father. And
Uh,
of course, my congratulations to you again on your 25th
oh,
anniversary of your ordination.
I
That's
appreciate that.
marvelous.
Thank you so much.
If any viewers didn't know.
where does the time go? Eh? And remember what we
Oh,
were
that's
saying,
right. Yeah,
from here on in, it's smooth sailing.
that's right. Yes.
Right. Okay. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes, of course.
God bless.
You
Okay.
as well. Take care, Father Richard.
You too. Yeah.
Thank you.